Welcome in. This is the 12 weeks of Christmas, week 3, and today I am sharing with you a super pretty display card featuring the Winterly Treetops bundle. This folds down flat so it goes in a standard size envelope, and I am going to share with you how to get that splatter on the frame of this card. So you want to stick with me. I will mention the measurements and the supplies as I walk through this. Margaret Duncan says it is 39 degrees here tonight. So overnight lows, right? During the day, not so chilly. Sounds heavenly to me. Just put on a couple of layers of clothes, get the blankets out, and fun. All right, I'm going to jump right in and share with you this project. I'm going to mention what we need as I go along. Stick with me. I do have some takeaways for you at the end. I'm going to put that there. Here is what we need to create this fun fold. Oh, Margaret says she just ordered the bundle. Well, you know, I think I've shared a couple of projects with you. It is the bundle of my card kit of the month, so I have been having a good time creating with it. I absolutely love birds, and I think I have all the bird sets that Stampin' Up has introduced. All right, so I need my trimmer, and I'm looking around. I had everything set up. Where did I put it? Oh, I found it. How can you lose a trimmer, right? Okay, so let's do our scoring. This card base, it's basic white, and it measures right now 4 1/4 by 5. I am going to score it, not cut, score. So I'm going to use the light trimming scoring blade, score down. Now I'm going to score from the upper right to the lower, or to the 4 1/4 inch score. So let's see. Upper right towards the left. I'm going to stop at that 4 1/4 inch score line right there. And let's see. Remember, score, not cut. I have to keep reminding myself of that because I do not want to cut my paper. All right, so there's my card base. It's as easy as that. And I'm going to fold and burnish. So bring in my bone folder, fold that right on the 4 1/4 inch score. And then I'm also going to fold and burnish on the diagonal line. This is what's going to make your project stand. It's freestanding and it displays nicely this way. And that, my friends, is the card base. So let's do a little bit of the decorating. Oh, I think I got rid of my trimmer a little too quick. I'm going to use a layer from the, let's see, the, I think the name of the paper is Winterly Treetops paper. Correct me if I'm wrong. It measures 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to cut it in the diagonal, or on the diagonal, because this is going to be layered up onto my card base. So let me bring back that trimmer. This time I'm going to cut, and I'm going to cut just like I scored from the upper right to the lower left. Remember, I'm cutting. So to do that diagonal cut, I just place the one corner on the track and then the lower left on the track. Cut that down and remove that trimmer. And let's go ahead and adhere this so that I don't lose anything, right? I thought I was doing really well. I've been losing things already. Now, I'm going to use my favorite adhesive. And you can see, just want to make sure I'm in camera. I think earlier I was falling off of camera view. Try to come in tight, but sometimes it's too tight. All right. And I'm also trying not to get inky or gluey. Inky, yes. No inky, no gluey, right? All right, so I'm going to have a little bit of a border, and I'm trying to go right up to the diagonal score line. And I'm going to repeat with the lower triangle. And again, I'm going to be going right up to the score line. But we do need to cut the paper. We want the paper to bend when it's being displayed. So again, we're going to have about 1/8 of an inch on the right and on the bottom, and you can see the triangle right down the center. All right, so next, I'm going to set this aside. We're going to work on our focal point, and I am going to share with you how I get the snowy effect on there. You can see a little bit. And I'm using, first of all, the die from the Winterly Treetops bundle. This is an amazing die. Look at that frame that we're going to get with all of that foliage from the evergreen. I am going to cut that in. So let me bring in, by the way, I do need my standard size cut and emboss machine. I'm going to bring this up, and let's see if I have some space here. The sandwich is the platform, and then I have the insert number 2, and I happen to have the magic mat, but you could use the standard cutting plate as well. Then I'm going to bring in my die on garden green that measures 3 3/4 by 5. I'm going to have just a bit of a frame, and I am using my Post-it note tape so that my frame doesn't wiggle as I cut through. And one more thing, I'm going to go up and back on this die because it is a little bit intricate, and I want to make sure that it's cutting all the way through so that I don't have to fuss when I try to release the paper. And I'm going to do one more thing. I'm also, if I can do this, going to flip over the die and cut it. So right now it's flipped over. I can't see the die, but I can see the cuts. I'm going to run it through upside down, so to speak. And I like to do this when I have those intricate dies so that I'm not tearing the paper. All right, when I'm releasing. Okay, so let me remove the tape, being careful not to tear my die. Push that out. And now it should be very easy to pull right out of that. Look at that, it's like magic. So a little bit more love and care to get that through. Right, so now that we've cut it, we are going to add the snow. So to add the snow, I am bringing in my white pigment ink. I have my little artist tool here. I'm going to put a drop of the pigment ink, and I have a little tiny supply of water because I need to thin it out. So that's going to be one of my takeaways. Make sure you are thinning this out. And I'm going to bring in, this is like an elementary school paintbrush. I'm going to dip it in the water. I'm going to water this down. I want it to be a little bit runny. Not too runny. And then, oh, I should have done this first. We need to protect our surface. So I have a mat that I've been splattering on. That way we protect the surface. And you're going to want to control where your splatter goes. So I'm going up close and just kind of flicking all the way around. Remember, you can control it. Go up, and you can even rotate your cardstock. I'm going to come in for a little bit more pigment ink and splatter. So the key is to thin it out and just kind of flick it on there. And this is one way to add the splatter. You could also, and I'm not doing it today, but I'm saying you could also get a stamp. We have stamp sets that have a little splatter image. You would need to ink up with like a Versamark and then apply the embossing powder and then heat set it. So that's another way to do it. Also too, you could put some of the pigment ink in a spritzer along with some alcohol and spritz it on. Now, this is a little bit damp. I'm going to set it aside to let it dry. And I'm going to work on some of the other layers. So remember, this is the card we're shooting for. Now, I'm using a background still from the Winterly Treetops pattern paper, and I hope I'm getting that right. I should have written it down. I don't have it in front of me. The PDF, the tutorial, the project sheet will have all that information. So you don't have to write it down. Now look at what happens. You have those beautiful birds on one side and you have that snowy sky on the other. That's just what happens with the pattern paper. Sometimes it's hard to choose. However, I am using also the bird side because that's where I cut out my birds from, the same sheet. And I'm sticking this on to a piece of basic white cardstock, which is the exact same size because I want extra support. Pattern paper doesn't have a lot of rigidity to it, so I'm putting it on basic white so I have a little bit more firm layer. This is going to be attached, and you're going to also, when it's in position, you might be looking at the back. You want it nice and clean, pretty at the back as well. To this layer, next I am going to add that pretty frame that we just made with the splatter. It's going to go right up over top, and to secure that, again, liquid glue, always my favorite, as long as you don't add too much. And I think I need to clean that up a little bit. Right through here, just a trail, not a lot. On all four sides, you're going to want this to stick. This is a standard size card. It will fold flat, so you can mail it using the standard postage. I don't know, what is standard postage right now? Like 73 cents in the US. It's going up, but I think it's still a deal in the US. Other countries pay more for their postage. Now look how I'm putting a little bit of adhesive on some of the little sprigs, because I don't want them getting or folded over or getting damaged when it goes in and out of the card, or sorry, in and out of the envelope. Now, if I was smart, I would have put my silicone mat down earlier. That's like the adhesive sheets, that's always thought of after the fact. It'll work. Okay, so I have liquid glue, and I feel like I'm getting sticky fingers now. This gets adhered or stuck right onto our pattern paper layer, and it's the exact same size. So it's going to fit nicely. There you go. Isn't that a pretty frame? Oh my gosh, we got all this snow going on. Debbie says she's never tried this method. It's fun, Debbie. It has a really cool effect. And it looks like real snow. It's not stamped. And that's one of the reasons I like this method of adding the white splatter as opposed to stamping and embossing. All right, so let's keep going. Now, I am going to be adding the greeting, Season's Greeting, and the Season's Greeting comes from the bundle called Greetings of the Season. And this has a lot of wonderful sentiments, Season's Greeting being one of them. It coordinates with the die set called Greetings of the Seasons dies. Lots of label dies, and I am using this nice little oval. These are for tags, so they all have that little punch in them. That's okay, we're going to be hiding it anyway. Now, I want to stamp down my greeting, Greetings of the Season, and remember I said I hand snipped the birds from the DSP. Those sheets have multiple birds. I don't want to waste, so I have one the first card with the two birds, that cardinal, and then I have a second one with that cute little birdie there. I did hand snip this straight out of the pattern paper, and this is going to go onto my card front. I'm just trying to envision how this is going to go. I am going to be hiding that little punch, so let's see if it'll work here. I might want this birdie a little bit higher, maybe coming up here, in which case I'll probably put the label just a tad higher. I think that's going to work for me, right? So I want to stamp, I'll leave the bird there, I'll stamp my season's greeting, and I'm going to make sure that that punch is to the left, and I need to come down just a little bit so I can see. And I'm using just Memento black ink. All right, so let me go ahead and put down my bird. I'm adding him with dimensionals. So let me flip over, and here we go. Here are my dimensionals here. I like the minis because they're going to get into these tight spaces, yet I can still give lots of support to my little images. And fussy cutting the birds from the pattern paper was kind of relaxing. I like that I can use the paper as opposed to the stamps. The stamps, it does have some birds. Actually, I think 2 images. So you have the single bird and the pair as well. So you could just stamp your image if you want. I chose to use the paper. I didn't even use the stamp set, to be honest. I just used the beautiful die from the bundle and the paper, and I think it's going to be beautiful because I don't have to color it that way as well. And I'm just going to tuck that in around there. Now, since I elevated the bird, I'm also going to elevate the greeting, put a few dimensionals on the back as well. There we go. So I love these fun folds that stand on their own, the freestanding fun folds for display throughout the season. Okay, we're going to do just like so. Yeah, I want to make sure that that little punch is covered. Okay, there we go. So how's he looking? I think he's sweet. I like both. I like the pair and I like the single. Now our next challenge is to get it onto the card base, and we want to think this through. We don't want any adhesive on the upper left because this is going to stand up when it's in position, right? So we don't want to have that attached. We are going to apply the liquid glue directly to the card base on the triangle where we do want it attached. I'm just not going to go to the edges because we have a bit of a border. Makes it really easy to avoid adding adhesive to the area where we don't want it. And I'm going to press. There we go. Now I want a greeting on the inside. So I'm going to flip that open. And the greeting I selected comes from the same Greetings of the Season stamp set. This one says, "May your holiday season be filled with warmth and cheerful celebration." So perfect greeting for the inside of your Christmas card, right? I'm stamping the greeting on the inside in black as well. So, as I was picking my colors, I wondered, do most people like their greetings in black, or do you like a colored greeting? Because the color I think would be festive, but I kind of like the text in black. I don't know. What do you think? I'm going to try to put this towards the top because it's a big greeting for the insert. Pressing down firmly and lifting up. There we go. I like it. There's plenty of space to sign, and we need to do one more thing so that this stays propped up when it's on display. We're going to add a little doorstop, so to say, and I added or I die cut a couple of those little sprigs. We're going to add them to a circle because these little sprigs might be a little bit delicate. And what we're going to do is place them on a circle. And I'm just going to add the little partner right with it. Super fun. So Debbie says mostly black. So I tend to agree. Once in a while, I guess I might use a colored one. And you know, there is a difference between the outside greeting and the insert greeting. Sometimes the outside greeting is nice in a color. All right, so that's what I've done. I've just got the little pair of sprigs there, flat adhered. Now, when I pop it up, I'm going to put it on dimensionals so that it is a doorstop. And the circle is to protect those little delicate needles on the sprig. So generous with the dimensionals. Right through there. Hang on here. I need to wipe my hands again. They're getting sticky. And next. I'm going to flip that over. We're going to push this up a little bit. So, and I have it at an angle, so the little sprigs are coming in. Now I'm going to do a check. Make sure that it doesn't interfere with my greeting. I like it there. Oh my goodness. Pam says it's 48 degrees and raining in Wyoming. Yay, rain. And 48 sounds lovely to me for if you can stay home and enjoy it. All right, so look at this. How fun is that? And when it's properly displayed, this is what you're going to be looking at. Season's greeting, and may your holiday season be filled with warmth and cheerful celebration. So there we go. And two different versions because we've got the partners and we have the single little birdie. Oh, all right. Absolutely adorable. So when you are adding white splatter to your projects, the takeaways, I want you to thin out the pigment ink like I did with the water. Use a paintbrush, or you can also use a toothbrush. And you want to control that splatter. So I did mine up close. That way it wouldn't be out of control. You saw me rotate the card. That way you get an even splatter. And don't forget, you want to protect your surface because that splatter will go all over. Protect your surface, I should say. It's going to go all over. So there is week 3 of the 12 weeks of Christmas with Just Stamp. And I featured today the Winterly Treetop bundle. It is also my, oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot my embellishments. Let me show you what I used. Today I used the Cherry Cobbler Pearls Adhesive Back Berries, and I used the frosty white ones. Let's see. You can see, right? There's 1, 2, and 3. So let's add them to our single bird card. And I'll talk as I'm working. This also happens to be the bundle for the card kit of the month, which we make 4 cards and a special 3D project. You receive a share of the designer series paper, and it will be this paper. You receive embellishments and the ribbon or twine that you need. There we go. What do you think? And you receive the card kit with the PDF and instructions on how to make all the cards. Let me share with you those cards. I absolutely love this bundle. Here is Thinking of You. There's a thanks. A friend like you brings me happiness. And a sending thanks. Super cute, right? And our 3D project is a little favor pouch. All in the card kit of the month. The card kit of the month is $34 plus shipping. It's free if you have a local porch pickup, just $34. And you will need the Winterly Treetops bundle to create the cards as I designed. Same bundle that we used on today's projects. The deadline to register is the 20th, so you have a little bit of time still. I will put the link above this video once I'm done, and I hope you can join the card kit of the month. And I hope you enjoyed today's week 3. I invite you to join me next Thursday for week 4. I'll have an all new project for you. And in between, I will be popping in as well. Lots going on during the holiday season. I thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, you can catch the replay over on YouTube. Make sure you are on the email list so you receive the PDFs. And I'd love to hear from you. Thank you, Debbie. She says, super cute kit. I hope you can join at some point too. All right, my friends, I will see you next time for more fun projects. Thanks for joining.